Hello and welcome to episode 1 of our Little Tree series. For those of you who is familiar with Mr. Che's work, you know that he loves to grow and work on large trees. In this series, he will be working on little trees. For the bonsai folks out there, these would be the Shohin sized trees. Mr. Che calls these siu ban, which roughly translates to small product. Make sure you check back in for more episodes of our little trees. Okay, so we're good. And then while I was doing that, he prepped the pot for me. Here we are. We're gonna put this tree into this pot right here. And when I say we, I really mean him. Okay, so we are working on this Chinese Elm. We are repotting, so right now we pulled it out of the pot and he's kind of removing the moss that's kind of grown on there and to clean off the old soil. So we were, trying to see if it would work in that pot, but it also depends on the root structure too. So but he's digging into it and we're gonna see if it's gonna work out. You get rid of the old soil. He's kind of cleaning up the root ball, getting rid of some of the roots that's not needed. Yeah, just cutting off some of the old roots. 你知唔知道係要剪幾多可以? So that's what it's gonna look like in its new home, new pot. So he's going to start off by putting some of the soil on the bottom. And then, do a good assessment of your pot before you put everything in. You want to check all sides, look for cracks, and see if there's anything that, doesn't look right. So you kind of have to find which is your front on your pot too. Timbin. Okay. So roughly that is how it's gonna sit in there. He's still thinking. So we're trying to find out which one looks better. Let's see. The side facing, 呢個唔係飄崖. It's kind of almost like a cascade, but like like a floating cascade. I think that's what he calls it. This one, it kind of works both sides, he says. I mean, this side looks pretty good. And then this side looks pretty good too. I think I prefer this side. What do you think? This side also looks pretty good too. 你可以
呢邊就多啲葉，到時我條紙可以拉低啲咁咧就好睇啦。
And then so with something that's like this, when you are kind of taking it from the pot and then repotting it into, like a ceramic pot, and then when both sides of the tree works, you have to try to find a side, because afterwards you're going to have to kind of tweak some of the branches to really enhance that front side. So right now, kind of deciding and picking, what looks good and what you're gonna eventually call your front of your tree is important. So spend a little bit of time trying to figure that out, see what side you really, really like, and then once you kind of settle, then we can make changes to train the rest of your branches, so to kind of enhance it. So now he's just securing the root ball into the pot. Hold on. He says, it's important to make sure that you secure your tree onto your pot, so that even if you're holding it like the way he did, it's not wobbly and it still stays intact. Yeah, so yeah, so you should secure it so that there's no movement of your tree. He was like, see, look, the way he was just holding it. 我中意嗰度前邊，因為呢度後邊咧，呢度有少少。Yeah, so the reason why I picked the other side as the front really has to do with this right here, because this is the first cut that he made on this tree. So you can see a little bit of that. For me personally, I prefer the other side.
即係唯一咧，呢啲樹咧，我哋唔會成日即係睇住佢啊！即係太多樹咧，即係種下種下，有陣時個角度唔一定。即係太多樹就冇辦法嘅，你知。
And then so, he was kind of explaining that this tree, this Chinese elm, is actually grown from a root that he had cut out from another bigger tree. When he has the excess roots, like a good size, what he usually does is he tries to plant those along the side of the fence or just kind of into something, and he just plants it and kind of forgets about it until it gets to be a little bit bigger, and then he kind of works a little bit on kind of shaping it as he go. But for something that's this small that he doesn't really spend a lot of time on, this is just kind of, when he sees it, he'll work on it a little bit and he'll set it aside. He didn't have a lot of time to constantly kind of watch it. Even with that cut in the back the way it was, it's something that had he been watching this closely from the beginning, watching it grow, really training it, I think it would have looked a little bit different. But because he has so many trees, this is one that is just like a little side project that he just kind of set off to the side. Now that we're repotting this, we are going to also train it as well. And then so for something like this, he's actually going to use a wire on it, because what he's trying to achieve is, instead of using the nylon string like you normally would for something like this, this is one branch that he is trying to kind of hold down. So he's just gonna go ahead and use the wire to pull the branch down. And of course, I forgot to show everybody what it looked like before. So for that comparison, the before and after. He's training that top pad right there. What you just saw him do was he took the whole entire thing and he's twisting it. So he's twisting it one way and then he's going further down and then twisting it in another way. 你兩邊轉係咪？點解？
佢依個轉依邊，依個轉嗰邊啊！你要做得多，你先知啊，即係解釋俾你聽。呢度我攤依邊咧，就等佢走嗰邊，但係依個指唔啱，我就再攤依度，咪等個多個角度咯。
So originally he turned it on one side because he wants the branches to grow forward, so you know, like straight. Originally it was not to the front of the tree, so then this pad right here would start growing forward. This is the path that he twisted. So the first twist he did was to make sure that this is pulled forward a little bit. So then when the branches and the leaves come in, it's a little bit fuller, you know, towards you. Now the second part, it was after he made that first turn, this was, you know, turned towards the back. So now he kind of retwisted it again. So then this also is coming, you know, towards the front slightly, so then it kind of create like that movement of the turns here that he has. After we figure out which is the front and the back, and then kind of resetting those two pads or those two branches, the rest of it, you know, looks actually pretty good the way it is. For now we're not gonna do too much to it. I think we're just gonna go ahead and leave it the way it is and let it grow and settle a little bit in this pot. This is just the start of, you know, working on the little trees. This is first part. Yeah. So usually after you repot, you know, you want to water it and, you know, kind of set it aside and let it, you know, settle. 呢個鐵線要放幾耐？
大約3個月到要拆得㗎啦。
So this wire that he put on there, he's thinking maybe in about 3 weeks or so it can come off. Yeah. So we'll definitely check back in
1個月啦，1個月。
I'm sorry, I said 3 weeks. It's supposed to be 3個禮拜咪3個月啊？
個零月等佢你睇睇㗎啦。如果一長到葉，佢就會定型㗎啦。
He says that once the leaf starts to sprout out, it would pretty much set already. So he's thinking maybe a month and a half. So we'll check back in a month and a half, and then we can kind of see where we're at with this one, with this little guy. Okay?